So now I would like to introduce our guest for this evening, Kathleen Madden. I am thrilled that she's here. We just met in person yesterday afternoon. Kathleen is an expert at sharing nutritional information and delicious whole food. She highlights the science and significance of food and nutrition in our everyday lives. Kathleen is passionate about cooking, caring for others, and is committed to supporting those who want to be healthy without sacrificing flavor. How about that? So welcome, Kathleen. So you have a story, a journey that I would call it, I guess. Do you want to talk about that?
So it's to give you sort of the Reader's Digest version of it. I have a lot of wonderful women in my life that I cooked with throughout my youth and adult time. Many who were dealing with lots of health issues, went through lots of family members with cancer, friends with cancer, and have always been a big foodie and went to farmers markets. My family always had gardens, went to local farmers. So it's kind of always been in my blood to have good food around me, and I enjoy really good food too. So I decided later in life, I was pretty much doing everything that one would do to lead a healthy life, but I was working in a very toxic environment, and decided in my late 40s that I was going to go back to school, and thought, what do I really want to do? And since food was such a big love, and I'm so interested in the body and how food affects the body, I went back and got my master's in nutrition and started working with cancer patients. I did a big part of my internship at a cancer center. Started going to, I taught cooking classes in boardrooms and in doctors' offices, and was just trying to get people to understand about healing through food. And I found that I was more successful actually cooking the food with them, letting them try it, than just handing them a recipe. People were more responsive and would get excited about how good something tasted, or they get excited to be easy for them and their kids to make together. And so I thought, I have to come up with a way to be able to provide this food for folks, and also an environment where people could come and, take cooking classes with their families and spread sort of the word on nutrition and how important food is to our bodies. I don't use any foods that aren't natural products. They're all whole foods. So there's no, corn syrups and canola oils and things, white flour in this building. We just don't have it. And so we figure out a way to make things with natural ingredients that your body is going to respond to. And most places don't do that because it's not profitable. My passion has always been first to provide the best quality ingredients that I possibly can, and not sacrificing on the food.
No. One of the things we often talk about in our group is community, as you said. So if you have a clean, healthy diet, you become truly like the oddball. We all have found times where friends or family might even laugh at us or tell us, oh, come on, quit being so tough about it all. But for those of us who really understand the benefits of that healthy lifestyle and like getting rid of the junk food, this is just where we want to be. It's just when we have community support, it's easier.
Sure. And I will say that I think a lot of times when somebody is not ready to take that jump, it's easier to make fun of or put somebody down for what they're doing than to be curious and say, hey, I want to try what you're doing, because it's hard and it's a commitment. And a lot of people aren't ready to do that. And instead of being supportive, because they can't take that, that chance or that jump, I think it intimidates a lot of people. I mean, I will tell you, I bring a lot of my own food. When I go to a party, I'll make dips and things that don't have dairy in them, or I'll bring gluten-free crackers. And 9 times out of 10, everybody's eating my stuff, and they don't know what it is. They don't know that there's any difference. And I try not to mention too many things about what I'm doing, because then people ask a million questions. And that's when you start to become the focus at the table. And it's easier just to say, oh, I'm trying something new, or, I have something going on tomorrow and I prefer to eat this, or I really splurged yesterday, so I'm taking a break. Because it is uncomfortable sometimes to be put on the spotlight in a group when you don't want to drink, or you don't want to have that piece of cheesecake, or, whatever it is.
People often ask about their children. We're concerned about our children. They're growing up not knowing anything different than this culture, a
Sure.
very, very sick culture. And we see the changes maybe in them, and we don't know how to influence them. And I always say it just has to go back to ourselves and just cleaning up our own act as much as possible, because eventually all we can hope for is that they see the benefits of our lifestyle, that eventually they say, oh, mom or dad really lives a great life at that age, and that observation of that is going to help them more than any words that we could say.
Like you saying, if parents do it at home, like we recommend taking them to the farmers market and letting them talk to the farmers, or actually going and visiting the farms and seeing what they do to produce their beautiful vegetables, or the chickens hatching eggs, or, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. There's just such a litany of cause and effect, like sugar could react some sort of bacteria in your gut, which produces an acid, which could affect your teeth. I mean, people don't think about sugar that way. We often just think, oh, sugar produces fat. There's so many, it affects our cholesterol. It affects, like I said, our brain fog. I work with folks that have dementia, and there's more and more studies coming out with Alzheimer's and dementia that's related to sugar. And so nobody's saying never ever have it again. That's not the message that you're trying to give, but I think that it's in everything. People don't read labels. I always try to tell people to buy pure. So if you want yogurt, get plain yogurt, put your own honey or your own fruit in it, and control the, what's going into your body, as opposed to buying something that has all those things already in it. I work with a lot of functional medicine doctors and osteopaths, so they are very familiar with diet protocols. I do work with some neurologists. I have some MS folks that I cook for, and they are, traditional medicine. But they do have the wherewithal to tell somebody to stop getting Meals on Wheels and come to me to get nutritious food. The biggest thing is we're feeding their cells, and your body is like a sponge. It just loves when you give it something good, and is going to, produce something good back. And so when we eat things that we shouldn't, we tend to feel more lethargic. Our brains aren't as clear. We definitely have some brain fog. And there's all sorts of repercussions of sugar that people just don't think about, other than, hey, you shouldn't have that because it's not good for you. When something is produced with love, and there's a whole cycle that we do. So, the farmer starts with their seeds and their good soil, and they're constantly doing things to nourish the soil, because if you're growing something organic in soil that has no nutrients in it, then you're not getting any minerals from the soil. So you're really not getting any vitamins in that plant. So they work really hard to continue, doing cover crops, whatever they can, to make the most nutritious soil to produce these beautiful plants. And then we cook with them, we turn them into compost, and then they go right back into the soil. So it's like this beautiful process that happens, that we're not only nourishing our bodies, but we're nourishing the planet.
where do you go to learn how to eat? Well,
Sure.
it's kind of the same with gardening. My uncle used to tell me how when he was growing up, gardening was a required subject in school. And in high school, everybody had a garden plot. It was part of what they did. It was part of growing up.
Nowadays, I think that things are so accessible. Like we can have strawberries in the middle of January. You know, we get everything from everywhere. And so I just think that it's changed the perception. And we're spoiled. You know, we really are.
And we don't really know what that does to our bodies too, because what they will say with, especially anyone who's into regenerative farming, and that this local food is actually giving the cells of your body information of how you live, where you live, how your body should be working
Right.
through the season according to what those vegetables turn on or off in your body. That we don't always think about our food actually being information sources to our body.
Sure. Yeah. I always refer to eating with the seasons because I only cook what my farmers provide for me. And there's a reason why, you know, you get root vegetables in the wintertime because things need to be hardy to hold you over, and things more greens in the spring when things are awakening and growing. And so it's very true that we should eat with the seasons. We just don't, and people tend to eat a lot of the same things over and over again. And so variety, you know, eat the rainbow is really important because everything has a different type of nutrient that it's giving us.
Well, we even in our group have talked about real salt.
Oh, yeah.
To the white table salt. So
Sure.
I think
Yeah.
everybody is away from that and into like Redmond or a variety of a real salt with all the minerals.
No, that's great. Yeah, what you're doing is wonderful.
Wow, I've got great people that I really care about.
One thing I will say that that I think people that, you know, make the choice to give up sugar and the willpower that they have, I think that's huge. I mean, willpower is a tough thing, and it's not, you know, if you can do that with sugar, I mean, you can do it with so many other things. And it's not, I don't think of it as you're missing out on something. I think it opens opportunities for so many other things that you can do.
Gotta love you. You're saying what I say all the time. We are not deprived. We have a higher quality life than other people.
Absolutely. And I think, I mean, one of the things that I focus on, and you might have noticed yesterday, is spices, herbs, sauces, you know, everything you had to eat was super nutritious. Would not have been so yummy had we not added just a few flavors. And we're big on creating some plant-based dishes, and then we make these really yummy sauces to put over top of them that are just garlic and ginger and tahini and, you know, lemon, whatever we have, that just kind of makes everything pop. And then people get really excited about what they're having.